So another set and series of videos I'd been thinking about doing was reviews on independent wrestling in the UK. And the reason was, I was always a huge wrestling fan growing up, big Attitude Era fan. Drifted a bit away from it as I got older, mainly because I didn't like the product, especially PG, let's be honest, it wasn't, really my thing. But, I'd always check, like, when Undertaker was on, when, like, The Rock, Stone Cold, guys like that, and stayed in touch with it, and obviously, a lot of people say to me, and there's so many people say, hey, my kids love wrestling. I'd love to take them to the WWE. I'm like, there's a load of independent ones around in the UK, right? And like, oh, no. So literally, you can take your kids to see them for like £5, £10, and they'll have a great time. We'll even get to meet the wrestlers and stuff. So that's something I'd definitely look in. I can recommend you a few good companies for people. A great company is a good one if you're in Siam area, down there. Is CCW. A lot of people go, oh no, CCW has a bad rep because they did a death match, or like literally half the wrestlers will meet your kids. They're all really nice guys. They'll give them a great show, put on a really entertaining show. The other positive thing about CCW is they also do an adult show called Carnage. So for those who want it, and they'll do death matches, and that's a bit, well, I'm not going to lie, it's a lot more brutal. Think of the Undertaker Mick Foley match, but more brutal. They'll use light tubes, and they'll do a lot of extreme stuff. They also have some women there, so it's got like an adult theme, obviously, for those. I know a lot of wrestling fans these days, especially with the stuff, are very sensitive and stuff, but they'll have girls in thongs and some entertaining stuff, and stuff like that. I'm sorry if that offends those of you who are a bit scared of women, which I know, unfortunately, a lot of male wrestling fans are these days. But anyway, so that's something I'm going to do. I might also review certain wrestlers, like independent wrestlers, and say, hey, go check these guys out. This is the promotions they work at, stuff like that. I personally never go to any of the ones in Liverpool because, let's be honest with you, Scousers, and the way they act towards people, they're always the victim, and they like to blame every other city for their problems and everything, and make stuff up. But yeah, besides that, there's plenty of good promotions out there. What I would say, though, my first video that I'm going to do is, obviously I've watched a little bit with The Rock coming back. Who doesn't love The Rock? The Rock's fucking brilliant, and he's entertaining as well. And it's made me laugh because you get these fully grown men, and they're like, oh, I remember when I was a kid in the Attitude Era, blah, blah, and then, no joke, The Rock calls a fan fat. Yeah, a fan fat. Bear in mind, it's a form of entertainment. He calls a fan fat, and these people going, oh, I wish it was more adult. And they go, I'm offended, it's called a fan fat. It's ridiculous. And this week, he made a joke about a girl who was screaming in the crowd and goes, you sound like someone The Rock could love, drunk and horny, and people have got upset over that. And it's, what generation do we live in? Like I said, I am actually a wrestling fan, and the whole point of wrestling is, let's be honest, the fighting isn't real. It's choreographed. Now, I'm not saying the bumps don't hurt and the effort put in and everything like that doesn't require hard work. You look at someone like Brock Lesnar and how tough a great athlete he is. Kurt Angle. Going through it now, there's loads of great athletes. That can't be questioned. But what made wrestling great was besides just the violence, was the storylines, wasn't it? The over-the-top storylines. Yeah, women are sexualized. Yeah, there's over-the-top violence. But that's what made it entertaining, because that's something the UFC couldn't do, boxing couldn't do. In the WWE, for example, I could go fuck someone's wife, and she betrays him, becomes on my team, so he comes back, he wants his revenge. You want to see me get my ass kicked in, you want to see the guy get stomped down and that's what made this entertaining. You could do these really over-the-top storylines, there's ridiculous ones. I could run you over and you come back for revenge 9 months later, type of stuff that made it good. But now people are, it's a bit too far, it's a bit offensive, someone called someone fat, blah, blah, and it's like, have all the wrestling fans grown up to be 40-year-old virgins? And that is honestly true. And I know the sad thing is, most male wrestling fans are women haters who are about 400 pounds, 5'3", stuff in their face. The trouble with The Rock is, I like Cody Rhodes, stuff in their face with fat burgers, and fucking deep throating a hot dog. It's fucking disgusting and ridiculous. And it's like, come on, what makes it entertaining? Everyone's going on like, oh yeah, Cody Rhodes needs to complete his story. But The Rock's segment's the highest viewed. And it's a really funny thing, because it even goes into like the kids area and stuff when you go away from the adults. Like, I went to someone's house and they had a thingy on, and you know what? And she goes, that's John Cena. John Cena comes on the TV, she will watch the wrestling. Oh, that's The Rock, she will watch the wrestling. But Cody, who's that? Because he doesn't look like a superstar. Now it's going to make people cry. He doesn't look larger than life. He doesn't have anything to make him larger than life. I actually like Seth Rollins and feel he has a bit of the stigma. If you put Seth Rollins against Shawn Michaels in his prime, there's no comparison. You know, Shawn Michaels had that thing where women wanted to fuck him, men hated him, he was entertaining. You know, you put someone like Goldberg, yeah, he just looks like a beast. And maybe it's not just wrestling, though. I mean, you look at stuff like, we've got some of the people cheering boxing now compared to the days we had Mike Tyson, you know, fucking someone like Tyson who's a beast and a killer. And then you've got these fairies now going, it's just fucking ridiculous. And I think people need to look at a new form of entertainment and the way our society is going. And it's, I guess this is what happens when you've got mothers and dads who want their kids to get awards. Oh, don't worry, son. It's not the fact that you didn't win. You should get an award for just turning up. No, you shouldn't. There's winners in life and there's losers in life. And that's just the way life is. You play a game to win, you know, and that's what it pushes you to be better as a person. I'm not saying be a dick and be an arsehole, you know. You've got a son who's a great footballer and he wants to get into Aston Villa. He doesn't get an award for playing. He gets an award for getting into that team. You know, and at the end of the match, when he's beaten someone, yeah, go up to them, shake their hand, fair enough. That's respectful. You know, you don't need to put someone down. You don't need to be arrogant. You don't need to be better than them. But you need to train to be an ass kicker.